Passion breeds purpose. Purpose over pleasure. Protect your purpose.
I like that.
And through all that, if you protect your purpose, guess what? And you stay focused, your purpose actually ends up protecting you from all the bullshit around you. What's up, guys? Another day of Impactpreneurs into the new year. This is our first podcast of the new year, right?
Is it?
I think so. Right, George?
Correct.
We can't hear you, dude.
Yes, it is the first podcast of
It's
the
the
new year.
new mics.
It is. Everybody's wearing red. Davrick, since you're from the military, what's red stand for on Fridays?
Red Fridays. It's to respect and celebrate the military, U.S. military.
Remember everyone deployed.
Yep. That's what we do.
So we were talking off camera. I was going to jump into it because we're hearing a lot about this right now during, after New Year's and people having these so-called New Year's resolutions, but they're not really resolutions. About business, what's happening in the business world, the recruiting world, companies trying to pay subpar value for grade A recruits.
Yep.
And they're not realizing that subpar price that they're willing to pay, or that they're only willing to pay, is the reason why their production is suffering already at the beginning of the year, or why it even ended the way it did at the end of last year, because they don't realize that the investment they make in getting the proper players into their companies is actually going to make them the money back tenfold. And so I know you just experienced this today or yesterday.
Yep.
So tell us what's going on in the recruiting world right now.
Well, there's an influx of opportunity and not enough candidates. But what's happening is the companies let me start from the beginning. The most valuable part of a company is an employee. That's the number one asset. Not the CEO, not HR.
Not the customers.
Not the customers. It's your employees.
And I'm just going to interrupt on that because that is Richard Branson's philosophy of business. And if you guys don't know who that is, that's the owner, founder, CEO of Virgin Airlines. And his whole business philosophy is your employees come first. Take care of your employees, everything else falls into place. Because if you take care of your employees, everything else, customer revenue, customer acquisition, everything is taken care of because your people feel like they're being taken care of. And here's the thing. Take care of them enough, train them well enough, like as if they could leave. But why would they leave?
Why would they? And here's what's happening right now. This year startup, there's 329,000 recruiter jobs. There's a reason for that. Okay. There's so many opportunities in the technology space in corporate America for people. But what the employers haven't done is adjusted their game to attract top talent. Now, what do I mean by that? We're still paying 3-year, 4-year-old salaries that are outdated, trying to get top value players.
Subpar value.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, they're not paying the recruiters anymore. I'm seeing rates for recruiters that were paying in 2000, in 2005. I've had companies come to me and say, hey, you want to make 40, 50, 60 bucks an hour? It's like, no, I was making that 15 years ago. So right now, what has to happen is there's a couple things. Number one, the companies have to realize that they're not in charge. It's not their world. It's the candidate world. It's the employee world. People can decide where they want to go. And I've seen posts on LinkedIn where the client's like, I interviewed this candidate, I asked them why they wanted to work here, blah, blah, blah. They act like they're in control and they're not. It's not their decision. There's nothing special about scooterflags.com. It's not even a company that exists, but here's my point. Well, people want to feel valued. You're trying to tell a candidate, why should I hire you? You have no choice. They have 4 or 5 other offers.
Exactly, because what you just said is people have more options now than companies have options. And because there's one huge thing. Whatever happened in people's minds during this pandemic, there's good and bad. One major pro is that people learned that they have so many options if they just become more valuable, that they can work remotely and that they're in control, or they can go into business for themselves.
We're wanting to hire 27 people, 30 people, 40 people, okay? And you're trying to find top talent to help hire those individuals, but there's some breakdowns on how companies work. Right now, you need to let recruiters be recruiters and stay out of their way. The number one failure of a company is the leadership getting in the way of hiring. I've seen it happen over and over. I've seen delays in offer letters because too many C-level people have to sign off on it. I've seen people not want to pay enough money for the right person. And I got to tell you, like I told the client today, there's 4 other offers this candidate's getting, and you're trying to debate why you need to pay an extra $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a year for the candidate. And the problem is you're going to lose. And now 6 months, 8 months, 9 months out, you have your board of directors yelling at you as to why your product isn't released, and it's because you didn't hire the person. And it's because you stalemated, you stalled. You were sitting on your hands debating on why you should pay an extra $5,000 a month. So right now I'm seeing this influx of top talent going anywhere they want, choosing where they want to go, but companies not understanding. And companies now need to raise the bar and meet them at their level, right? You know what I'm saying? And a perfect example is like, let's go out here in the retail food chain. All these McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, they're all looking for jobs, right? Or they're looking for people to hire for jobs. Nobody's working.
Go ahead.
That's like the tech space.
Well, here's what I was going to say earlier too. So it's not only do people have, not only people that actually want to work hard have many options, but then also what this, pandemic, COVID, whatever you want to call it, it also created a lot of lazy people as well, where people don't want to work anymore. People just want to clock in, clock out, and that's it. Or not even that anymore. They want to try to expect a free check because like my mentor and I, we just went to Aspen, and the Whole Foods in Aspen is paying anyone that wants to work full time $1,000 bonus just for signing up to become an employee
of
at Whole Foods. If you not only do you still get all their benefits and everything, but you come work for Whole Foods, we're going to put $1,000 into your pocket. Part-time will give you $500. Like that's where our world is right now. There's no middle ground anymore. And that's why where you're at, where these companies don't understand is people now have options, because the ones that have options are willing to fucking work hard. And
yes.
They know that they're worth something.
Right.
And then the ones where they're trying to pay subpar value, these guys just want to be lazy. They don't want to work hard. They've been getting paid the last couple of years through the stimulus check. And, so many people quit their jobs because the stimulus check was better. And it just created this, a lack of sense of urgency.
There's more too. I agree with that, but go back to corporate America. I just saw this article. It said 20% of the companies right now are hiring remote workers only. That's not the tech space. It's like 90%. So let me give you an example. ABC companies hiring a software engineer. They need to be on site. I'm going to pay 4-month-old market value for the employee. You're not going to hire anybody. Nobody needs to go there. They can go anywhere they want.
Or someone who's not good.
Or not good. Right. So you want to, and that's the other thing, right? Everybody wants the Michael Jordan, and they want to pay a bench warmer that didn't, or a person that didn't make the cut of the.
They want to pay $100,000 for Michael Jordan.
Right. So a senior level software engineer right now is between $175,000 and $190,000 a year. Period. Done deal. You don't like it, you're going to be sitting on your hands. And so HR needs to get out of the way. Executives need to get out of the way. Let recruiters recruit. And the other thing that's messing up corporate America in the tech space and recruiting is recruiters should not report to HR. HR is not recruiting. They get in the way of themselves. They need to report right to the C-level. HR is not recruiting. They don't understand recruiting. They're human resources. There's a different function for that.
Right.
So I'm seeing all these blocks.
They're to make sure something doesn't go wrong inside the company.
The legal issues, work with legal, employee benefits, et cetera, not hiring. So here's how it works. The CEO, CTO says, HR, get the salary bands for these positions. So what do? They go out on salary.com. Did you talk to your recruiters? You don't even know what, this rate's $30,000 too low. Well, it said over here, did you talk to the people that actually do the work? No. And then here's the next problem that they do. HR says, okay, here's all the positions. John needs the metrics for recruiting. And then they go to John and show him, and then John goes back to HR, and then HR goes back to recruiting. You got to treat recruiting like the most important role in the company, period. So moving forward, right now, Johnny, that's 3 years out of college, is making $150,000, $60,000, $75,000 a year. And if you don't pay him, Apple will pay him. Amazon will pay him. Microsoft will pay him. Scooterflex.com will pay him. Nobody cares about your NFT crypto company. It's great, but why should somebody work there? Why should he? He can go anywhere he wants, or she can go anywhere he wants. So I think right now, corporate America executives need to get their head out of their butt and come to realization that it's not your world anymore. You don't make the decisions. You have to roll with the punches. And I want you to talk more about, we talked about this off mic. We talked about outside about people staying home, leaving their jobs. Was it 4.5 million in the month of December, November, quit their jobs?
Yeah, I remember.
They're not going back to work. You talked about that a little bit. I want you to kind of focus in on that as the why. You mentioned it earlier, but the stimulus check, but people are I feel are going, I'd rather work for myself now. Do you feel that trend coming?
Yeah, well, because here's the thing, because that's the pro that came out of the pandemic, where people started to realize, I don't have to have a job. I don't have to work for someone else. I don't have to work for someone that sticks a finger in my fucking face and tells me what to do, when to do it, how to do it. I don't have someone that I have to report to. I have enough skill, or I have enough resources to go learn the skills I need to work for myself. And I'm willing to go work 60 to 80 hours a week for myself. And no one's going to be telling me what to do. I'm going to struggle in the beginning. Life's going to kick me in the ass. I might get buried. I might go in debt. But I'm still working for myself, so I'm putting sweat equity into it, where after a couple of years, I know that it's going to put me on top, and I'll be making more than whatever company I go to work for. And that's the pro that came out of the pandemic. It gave people the opportunity and ability and the capacity to understand that I have resources to go learn and be in business for myself, and maybe even go into business with friends, and we can all do it remote. We don't have to have an office.
How easy is it? We talk about this. How easy is it right now for someone to make 6 figures a year? How easy is it?
I can take somebody from 0 to 6 figure, from 20,000 to 100,000 in 4 months.
4 months. So why, and we talked about this, I don't understand all these people. I see these messages on Facebook, I'm struggling, I need this. It is so easy, but I think a lot of people are complacent and lazy and unmotivated, and their ego and pride is in the way. Money's money.
But they're also not, but here's the thing, even if you take all that out, they're not willing to put in the time. And the thing is, like, with success, wealth, whatever those numbers are to you and whatever success is to you, you got to be willing to put in the work. You got to have grit. You got to be willing to sacrifice time. And it's not really sacrifice time, it's your investing time. But you got to be willing to step away from the things that actually take away from where you want to be in life, and be willing to put that into your work. You know, if you're in a relationship, you got to have that conversation. We've talked about this on another episode before. Is like, if you are trying to get to a certain place, and even if it's just to make $100,000 and you're not even close to that, you got to be willing to to take time away from family, have that conversation with your relationship, and say like, hey, this is what I have to do to get to this number. And then you guys are on the same page. Because look, at the end of the day, take away time from like certain date nights. Maybe you try to schedule that in so that it's, you know, a few hours once a week, twice a week, time with your friends, time going out to dinner, save some money, invest it back into your business. And you'll end up creating so much more time that will end up making you the money that you want.
Absolutely.
And then if we're talking about going, you know, into the 7-8 figure numbers, then you got to know that you got to be willing to eat shit for a long time. Like, you have to be willing to go 60, 70, 80 hours a week, you know, months, if not years,
and that's
to get to that point.
And I wrote a formula out on Facebook for 40 hours a month to make 100K.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's not even 40 hours a week.
A month.
Right? I wrote it out just to give people an example how easy it is to go make 100K. And I had responses like, well, I couldn't see myself doing that. I wouldn't do this.
That's where the ego and pride comes in.
Right. And then I said, look, it's 20K a month. It's more than that. Right? And I said, you can do this at Friday, Saturday, 10 hours on Friday, 10 hours on Saturday. Right? So that's actually 20, 40, 60, 80 hours a month. You make over 100 grand. Are you willing to do it? And it doesn't violate God's laws or man's laws, right? And so my point:
and get out of your way of pride and ego because you're worried about who might see you or whatever.
Right. And so I think what I'm seeing now is people are frustrated, they're panicking, they're stuck, and there is people breaking out, doing something. I mean, remember my story? I got out of the military, had no job. I was drilling peepholes in front doors for people for $20. to eat. Talk about no pride, be humble.
Well,
and
yeah.
I went door to door, and then I had to make my car payment, my rent. And this is when rent wasn't like what it is now.
Right.
But I was out Saturday morning, 8:00, knocking on doors, said, hey, I noticed you don't have a people. I'm drilling for $20 a people. Metal ones were 25, right? Whatever. So I was going door to door, and I had to do this all day. I was working 16 hours on Saturday and Sunday, Friday afternoon. And I had to do that because during the weekday, everybody's at work.
Well, here's the thing. You just said it. Man, you just said it. The fact that people look forward to their weekends because you get to take some time off is exactly why you're not making what you want to make, and exactly why you are where you are, or exactly why you're not in business for yourself. Like where most people are like, thank God it's Friday because you get to fucking get off work early. You got Saturday, Sunday to jerk off, and then you're going to go repeat that same cycle Monday through Friday. So what exactly in your life are you looking forward to when you say, thank God it's Friday because you get to take a couple of days off from work? There really isn't. And you sit in this endless cycle, and then you want to bitch and complain of my life the quality of my life isn't improving, but then you're not willing to work 7 days a week. Like people, I tell people that I work Saturday, Sundays, like I have certain things scheduled in, like Sundays, church in the morning, get some calls in. Saturdays have certain things done. Friday nights is date night, but I still work my ass off those 3 days. I just schedule the things that like are important in my life.
Thank God there's money instead of thank God it's Friday.
Yeah, man.
And thank God my invoice got paid.
And here's the thing too, and I'm not sure if it's the same in your industry, but the opportunity to grab more revenue on the weekends is actually higher than it is during the week because most people are not as busy on the weekends. So that gives you a higher ability and opportunity to sell and get in front of more people or get on more calls with people. The opportunity is so much bigger on Friday, Saturday, Sunday than it is Monday through Thursday, because Monday through Thursday, the week starts. Kids, work, school, homework,
basketball, soccer.
All the stuff's all of real life shit's going on, but you can spend the weekend to go make more money.
I'm sending so many emails on the weekend. Brother, my clients in China, Uruguay, Brazil, their holidays are different. Their work hours are different. What time zone are you in? And I say, you know what?
That's where capitalism comes into play.
Right. And I said, okay, wait a minute. On the weekends, you know what I'm doing? I'm sitting in front of my computer like I'm going to reach out. I got to follow up. I'm sending so much emails and getting my stuff ready. So when Monday comes, I'm 6 days ahead of everybody, brother. Just like your work hours, right? You get up at 2 a.m., start your day at 4, your prayers and worship, your meditation, you read. You're by 8 o'clock, you've outperformed everybody by 3 or 4 days. So on the weekends, it's Friday. I'm excited because Saturday, I'm grinding, bro. Because during the week, I'm actually doing my function. I'm doing my workflow. I'm working. But on the weekend, that work slows down here. So I said, you know what? I got all this extra time. Why don't I ramp it up here and keep working over here? So I'm volleying back and forth with tennis. Hit the ball over here, run over here, hit it back to myself. Because over here, I'm doing the grunt work. I can't go out and get the leads. I can't massage the clients. Nurture. I'm over here doing the work. But then I'm sitting on the weekends like, what do I do? And my son came up to me yesterday. He said, Dad, I'm busy. I got this job, and then I'm trying to do my Amazon. He's starting an Amazon web store. He's got his shoe, crypto, right? He's like, but I don't have time. He's complaining about a 9 o'clock call. I said, brother, you got 8 hours of work. Then what do you do? He's like, well, I sleep. No, you got another 8 hours. That's 16 hours.
And at his age, 8 hours of sleep is too much.
Right. So then I said, how?
He froze.
Right. It's like, but here's the thing. How many more hours you got to sleep? And so he's like, wow, you're right. So he got up at 9 o'clock. I put him in contact with a guy who has a pretty good Amazon web store that I've known for years, and he flips real estate. And this guy's taking the time out of his day to talk with my son. And my son came to me, Dad, it's at 9 in the morning. I said, brother, 9 in the morning? You know what you're doing? You're gaming at night. Get off the freaking computer, go to bed, get up at 9, have a game plan written out before you talk to him.
Dude, get up at 8, man. Like get up an hour or two before.
So now he's on Alibaba ordering products and services for his Amazon web store. But here's a kid that's 18 years old. And he gets it. He goes, Dad, I finally get why you told me to get a job at Kentucky Fried Chicken. He said, so I can value what I had when I wasn't working. Now that I'm working, I know I don't want to live this life. What that guy has at KFC, I don't want. What I want, he doesn't have. He goes, I don't want to be here. I said, good, but you're paying the price. Guess what would have happened if I gave you a brand new BMW when you graduate high school and I let you run my company and you didn't earn it? You wouldn't have the value. He walks 20 minutes to work and walks 20 minutes home. In the dark or in the morning, he's working. And he's the only guy going to work because everybody's scared of the pandemic. So he's going to work. But here's the beautiful thing. He goes, I got to get this Amazon web store going. Why? He goes, I don't want to be a KFC.
Good shit.
Right?
At least he's intelligent enough to realize that. And you know what? You said you put him in contact with the guy. So I think that's another thing where...
But I didn't do the work, Sean.
No,
he's making the call. He's doing
I know, but he's well. First of all, like he's seeing his dad work, so that's the first and foremost. Because you can't, your kids will ignore you and tell you to fuck off. Not exactly like that, all the time, but they will watch and see what you do, and they'll follow suit.
Right.
They'll emulate what you're doing. They won't listen to what you're saying. You know, and I think one of the other biggest things we're just in this world right now for people to want to improve. I know, Davik, you obviously know how important this is to me. There is a significant undervalued element, to having a mentor. And people think it's not that important. They want to go figure it out on their own. And you might figure it out on your own, but it's going to take you an extra 2, 3, 4 years, maybe 5 years. Where like, if you can just invest a little bit of your money, even if it means making it even tighter, and get someone that's actually already been where you want to be, or has what you want, as you say, and is doing the things that you want to do, or has a lifestyle that you want to kind of eventually reach. Why would you not invest money and time into someone that can teach and educate you the ropes to get to where you want to be a little bit faster, show you the real shortcuts, literal live cheat codes to actually get to certain places faster?
It's just like Ronnie Coleman said. Everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but nobody wants to lift any heavy ass weight.
Right.
So translated into your world, everybody wants the success, but they don't want to put in the work.
I mean, look, I've had a mentor my whole life, ever since after I came out of drugs. So I came out of drugs. And then after 2 or 3 years of being sober, from that point on, I have never not had a mentor. So the last 13 years, I haven't not had a mentor. And my mentorship with individuals has significantly accelerated and expanded. As I evolved, I obviously would evolve to a mentor that's at a higher level. And that's important too, because you don't want to be like someone who's making 100K and go hire someone that's making 10 million a year, because there's such a huge gap that they might speak languages to you that doesn't even make sense. But also at the same time, it might seem a little far-fetched.
Do you have different? I know that. Speaking about this, I know that you coach people. Okay, you're a people influencer coach. You're a lifestyle changer. Do you have different? And this isn't a commercial for you, but do you have different packages or different programs for people that want to, like, okay, Sean, I want to be successful. I'd like to just get to 6 figures. Sean, I'd just like to get to 200, 500. I'd like to get to $1 million. And I know you're going to the 100 million. But if a person wants to go and just help them create a better lifestyle.
Structure prioritization.
Right. And maybe even $400 or $500 a week extra. Do you have something that's at their level? Because I know, here's the truth. 1% or less of people in the world can run at your pace or want to run at your pace. But if Lisa, Steve, or Bob says, "Hey, I just need to make extra 500, can you help me?" Do they have to come in at that level? Can you bring them in at a low level?
No, because the thing is, so yeah, I have a business mindset coaching program, and the thing is, like, as much as I enjoy working with, people at high levels, because they understand and they got the grit and they already got the work ethic and they're already kicking ass. And now this is like, how do I prioritize and structure this so that I'm actually just more efficient and effective and productive? But I actually like the underdogs a lot more. Because for the most part, when an underdog comes to me and is fucking hungry and really wants to evolve and develop just their overall lifestyle, whether it's a couple hundred extra bucks, or go from 50 to 100 grand or whatever, I actually have a lot more fulfillment and enjoy what I do with them, because it completely changes their life tenfold. Like the typical executive that comes to me, they're already making, high six figures, maybe seven figures, and their lifestyle's already good. It's just a little fucked up because they're scattered and there's no prioritization and structure. Where like the underdog, they have no lifestyle. They can't afford shit. They're trying to get out of debt. They're trying to get to a position where they can buy gifts for their girlfriend or help their mom or dad with some money. I love those stories more. I'm getting goosebumps telling them, because, for me to be able to help someone go from, 40,000 to 150,000 inside their first year, where they're able to pay off their debt, send some money to their parents overseas, that to me has so much more value and just gives me more pride in what I do, because I'm creating an opportunity for them to change their own life, but also help the life of their family members as well that are struggling. So yeah, I mean, that's I know I kind of went off on a little rant tangent there, but I have so much more joy working with the underdogs.
Yeah, and it was funny because my son said something to me the other day. He's like, "Well, Dad, how do you know I'm going to be successful? What if I don't want to make this much money? What if I said, Trey, it's about the why. Why do you do what you do? I said, do you want to retire your mom? Obviously, we're not together, right? His mom. He's like, yeah. I said, well, then that's why you do what you do. It's not about you. I mean, if people's why isn't big enough, they're not going to do it, and that's okay. That's okay. The thing that people have to realize, Sean, is not everybody is built for what they want to do what we do. Your why has to be so big enough, it puts you outside of your comfort zone.
Well,
so if it's just about you and your cat, no pun.
Okay, said cat.
Well, but you know what I mean. I'm living in an apartment. I have a cat. It's just me. I don't have any relatives. My why, I just want to play video games and work part-time. That's your why. Okay, well, you're going to go here, and that's okay. But if you're talking about impacting people's lives, changing the world, impacting your whole family lineage, you're not just your mom and dad.
Yeah, generational change.
Generational wealth, okay? Your why becomes so big that the work doesn't matter.
Well, I think that's the part where people work for selfish desires, and that's great, because I get it, because we've all been there. You and I have been broke before, so we get it. Where like in the beginning, it's just like, I just want to be in a fucking better place.
And what's funny? You said that real quick. I feel like I'm a different type of broke. I make really good money. We're in the upper 1%.
Sure.
But I still feel, because my why's so big.
Well, here's the thing too. I forgot who I heard having this conversation, but the guy, heard an individual talking about this. He's worth about $750 million.
Oh.
One of his whys, not his main why, but it's in his top 3 whys, is he's afraid to ever be broke again.
Oh,
I mean, to the point where he had the water in his house shut off, and him and his wife now, they've been together for umpteen years, since I think middle school or high school, had their water shut off and they had to shower in the pool. And he says the fear of ever being in that position again prevents me from ever letting that happen, and is why I work my ass off. The guy is almost 50 years old, worth $750 million. Generations of his life is set for life, and they have investments that will pay off the rest of his family for the next 200 years, but still works like a dog because he's afraid for that to ever happen again.
I've had my water turned off in power. Yeah, back in the day.
So, there's a reason why they say people that have hit fucking rock bottom.
Oh.
You know what? We're going to go into it. I wasn't planning on it, but like the fucking guy that tried to talk shit to me on social media last night about what dark side, who's got it? Like, if you got a dark side, then it's weakness. I mean, it was just so silly for me to read that, because I'm like, the first thing I'm thinking is,
who is he?
I don't know. But the thing is, like, a man that either doesn't have a dark side or claims to have a dark side is an untrustworthy man. Because I don't know a single man that doesn't come from some sort of a dark place. It doesn't have to be crazy, but at some point in your life, you've been through something dark.
Oh,
Mine is extreme.
and
yours has been extreme too.
And we're half a step of being there again if we don't keep our alignment
right. And the thing is, and Tim Grover, who is Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant's coach, and amongst many others, mindset and training coach, talks about it that these high level athletes, the best of the best, the reason why they are the best of the best is because they go into that dark place when it comes to their performance.
Right.
They have their whys, they have the skills, but when it comes game time, they tap into that dark side, and that dark side takes over, and that's why they excel so well.
It's when I used to compete, I'd work out angry. I'd take all those demons and I'd work out angry. I'd have my certain music, and people are like, dude, what are you listening to? I worked out angry. I was pissed, but I got the results. So when I'm building businesses and I'm running hard, I work aggressive and angry, not towards a client,
right?
But I'm like, you know what? And
you're not in a bad place. It's like this. It fuels your fire.
I'm like, dude, I'm not freaking losing this deal. I'm not losing it. It ain't gonna happen on my watch. I'm gonna make it happen.
Well, and you have passion. Like I just made a post today. Look, passion breeds purpose. Purpose over pleasure. Protect your purpose.
I like that.
And through all that, if you protect your purpose, guess what? And you stay focused, your purpose actually ends up protecting you from all the bullshit around you.
Right.
Where motherfuckers like this want to talk shit. Okay, dude. And I just wished him well. I didn't talk shit back to him. I was just like, dude, my friend, you got some. I'm like, my friend, like you got some issues. I hope you find yourself. I hope one day you're happy with the guy you see in the mirror, but wasting your time hating on something that I'm talking that has helped me and is helping other people. Like what? But you know what? And I invited him to unfollow me multiple times. And I just checked and he still follows me.
And I don't like bullies. It pisses me off because I was bullied as a kid. So that's why I commented. And I've seen it all over LinkedIn.
And he said he wants to fight me. And I'm like, dude, like,
are you serious?
Yeah. He said, I'll let the gloves, he said, gloves or no gloves, I'll let my hands do the talking. And I didn't even reply to it because it's like, dude, like, okay, I can get in a ring with you too. I know how to fight. You don't know me just because you box as a teacher or something. I don't know. But I don't need to go there. Like this, we're not going to do this social media shit talk war because something I said ruffled your feathers. And instead, like, dude, go reflect on what I said. If that bothered you, go have a conversation with yourself.
Right.
You know, and, that's the part where, like, you know how sometimes you make a post and someone random thinks like, was that about me? And it's like, not necessarily, but if it pinched a little bit, if it hurt a little bit, go reflect.
Right.
Go take a look at why that hurt, because that might be the answer to why you are where you are.
Wow. Yeah, I think people just have too much time on their hands, and the negative comes out, and they want to attack people because of their shortcomings.
And no one wants to use their past regrets as fuel. Like, you know, a lot of people say, no regrets, don't regret anything. But hey, listen. Regret's your fucking guideline, man.
I got tons of regrets.
But here's the thing. Regret is your guideline.
I got regrets and regrets.
Yeah. Right. Regrets. Chocolate tattoo.
Yeah.
But no, regret is your guideline. Like if you can tap into the things that you have regretted that you have done in your life and to never want to make that mistake again, those are your guidelines. That is 100% the best mentorship you're going to have is the things that have gone wrong in your past is exactly how you do the exact opposite.
And you know, successful people have a lot of landmines they stepped on. They learn failing forward. So don't step on that mine. I already did it, right? So I want to copy somebody, right? Elon Musk, Charles Branson, right? So
Richard
Branson, sorry, Charles Branson. I'm watching old Western in my head. So the point is like Elon Musk talked about how he had like what was it, $30 million left. And he goes, I have two companies. I had $30 million left. And he goes, they were both my babies. And I had to either put all the money in one company, have the other fail, or I put them in both the companies, $15 million each, and take a chance. He goes, so I had $30 million left. And he was talking about SpaceX and Tesla. He put $15 million in both companies, and he had to borrow money for rent, right?
Yeah, that's actually a meme that's just going around. I'm sure everyone's seen it.
And he pulled it off.
But here's the thing about him too, and this is where people don't want to put in the work, or they think that certain people are meant to be successful and others aren't. When no, it's actually up for grabs. You just have to be willing to put in the footwork because, Elon tweeted about this, I don't know how many years ago or how new it is, but 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they think that he's lucky, or 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they think that he's just meant to be successful because he's smart.
He's working 16, 17 hours, bro.
Dude, the guy is now the number one richest man in the world, and he's still working more than 99% of the world.
And paid $1.3 billion in taxes.
No, $11 billion.
$11 billion in taxes. Sorry, the most that's ever been paid. But yet people say rich people don't pay taxes. Okay, nobody's $11 billion. Hello, right? That guy's a working. Copy him.
There's no argument about it, and there's only a couple things that extreme successful people have in common: is a work ethic and grit, and that's it. That's the main thing that you and I have in common. That people that are levels beyond us have in common is a work ethic and grit and no excuses, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to reach the pinnacle points of what they want, where they want to be in life.
You know, he was in. Do you hear the story of Elon? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
When he was a kid, and him and his brother had this little software thing they were doing, and they were sleeping on the couch in the office, and he was writing code, and he had this little girlfriend, and he said, "Well, the only way you can see me is if you come to my work." So she come to work and bring pizza, but he lived there at the office, grinding it out. So my son says, "Why are we moving to Vegas?" When we moved to Vegas, I said, "You know what?" I said, "You know what you don't have here?" He goes, "What?" I go, "You don't have a real big social life." He goes, "No, I don't, because I don't know anybody." I said, "Make the money, the social life will follow."
All right.
So he has no girlfriend. He has no friends. They're all online from Seattle, and he's not hanging out with me. But you know what he's doing? He's starting his empire.
But you know what? It's even better that way, because there's one thing that I'll tell you that I think has helped me throughout different times in my life, and now it's different. But when you're in your late teens and early 20s, unless you're with somebody, and I'm not anti-relationship, I'm in one. But if you're not with somebody, if you're not with like your middle school or high school sweetheart, don't think about getting into a very serious relationship,
Nope.
male or female. Go fucking work your ass off, because I have seen people's careers cripple because they entered a new relationship at the worst time of their career life. Because when things are booming and you're on this high ride and everything is just, all cylinders are firing at the same time, going the right direction, vertical, and then all of a sudden you think you met the right person, and so then you want to put some time into a relationship because you don't want to do this thing alone anymore. You don't want to do this thing called life anymore. And then now that requires demand and time and mental capacity. Now you're going to start stripping away from the hours and the grit and the mindset that you were putting in your business towards this relationship. And as soon as you start stripping away from the things that have got you into this vertical leap, guess what? That vertical hill eventually starts to tip over and goes down into a downward spiral.
Yep.
All because you made a 10% shift from your career to a relationship, to a new relationship that doesn't belong in your life just yet.
But that 10% shift
is a deal breaker.
Is a honeymoon phase of 90 days, which takes 90% of your mental capacity. And then that puts you 9 months to a year behind to get back to where you were to go forward again.
And there's obviously not many, very few special exceptions where you might meet somebody along the way that's like, just like you, same level of success, in their pinnacle, things are riding, and there's an understanding like, I got my shit to do, you got your shit to do. If we can make it work to get together this week, great. If we don't, no problem. I got you. Or they're coming together and they're doing this thing together. But those are very, very few exceptions, because new relationships. I mean, look, I had this conversation with my girlfriend where I was like, look, you need to understand, like, I am in the highest pinnacle point where it's like a couple more notches and like my whole life forever generationally changes, and I can't compromise any of my time. And this had to be a very, very serious conversation, sit down talk, for there to be a clear understanding that there's going to have to be days and date nights where I might have to sacrifice because of where I want my life to be. And then I told her about the story that I heard. And this is probably one of the best stories I've ever heard. This gentleman was talking about one of his female friends who's married with a stud, like a man's man, right? This guy is making world changes, right? And this lady, she used to have people, friends, family members, random people always come to her and ask her, what's it like? Like, do you enjoy your marriage? Do you enjoy your relationship when your husband is always gone and barely ever available and is always just out there working, grinding? And she's like, listen, I would rather spend 10% of my time with a 100% man than 100% of my time with a 10% man. And my husband is a man's man. And I would rather only have 10% of my time with a man's man than all my time with a 10% man. That's a boy.
That's powerful.
That's powerful as fuck. I heard that, I heard that and I was like, the pride this man has to have that kind of a wife that will back him and say shit like that. Because guess what? I bet you when she said that to other wives or other husbands, I bet you it burned a fucking hole in their hearts. Because she's literally saying, sorry, my husband is a man's man. That's 100% man, and I'm okay with giving him 10% of my time. While you guys indirectly saying, your husband is not a man's man.
But that also comes down to traditional values as a woman. And that right there is where 75% of the divorces right now in America, the women are leaving the men. And then they're lonely and single in their 40s and 50s and looking for a high-value man when they're not high-value. And so, high-value men want traditional women. Do you know how to cook? Oh, that's such a bad thing. It wasn't a bad thing in the 40s and 50s. And now women are back home, and now they're not in the corporate America, and now they're like, hey, I want to learn how to cook. Hey, I like this. I want to stay home. But just like this lady, she's not out trying to be boss bitch. A high-value man doesn't need that because there's drama. He doesn't need that. He doesn't need you to tell him what to do.
And don't get us wrong, because I don't mean to cut you off. I want you to pick right back up in a second. Don't get us wrong. There are many times where, your spouse can be your fucking ride or die right hand where you guys are doing this thing together.
Right.
There just isn't a lot of that.
But right, and what I'm saying is I get these. I had this conversation. In fact, I'm going to have this call with this gal tonight. She's like, I want a guy like this. I want a guy like this. Blah blah blah. And she was writing this on this message, and I said, let's have a conversation, because her expectations. She's over a certain age. She's past the danger zone, right? And her thought process is she's here at a lower level, and she's trying to get the top 10% of men in America make over $100,000 a year. And you want a six-figure earner, you want a high-value man, but what are you bringing to the table? You're not high value. You're telling me all this stuff, and I asked her about a relationship, so I said, we'll have an offline call. I don't want to do it over message. Let's talk about this. I'll walk you through it. But the reality is high-value men want a traditional woman. And if they don't know what that is, then they need to figure it out. But
right.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to be combative, next, I don't need it.
Yeah, or come to the table and say, hey, I want to be a right-hand ride or die. Tell me what to do, and I'm going to do this with you.
Right.
One of the two.
You're right. But
because because here's the thing, I'm slowly becoming part of this circle with these elite players where their wives are actually anchors and rocks in their businesses. Mm-hmm. Not just stay-at-home wives, but they are major impact players in their husband's business.
Right.
And that's invaluable, man.
It is invaluable. It is invaluable.
It just isn't a lot, because sometimes people get into this thing where they want to compete with their spouses.
That's why I said that's what I said. You got to you're trying to be the man. You got to put your dick away. I'm sorry, but this is how it is.
You don't have.
and men right, and the men have not changed over the last decades and centuries. Men are still the same, but the women have changed, and now they've had this feminine movement, and the whole feminine movement wasn't about. It was about choice, right? In the 40s, when the feminine movement came out, it was like, hey, feminine movement is coming out. It was supposed to be about choice, right? Now it's about freedom. We're going to run the show. We're going to make the decisions. It doesn't work. And so you're seeing this influx of 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old women alone and single, because their mindset.
They're making great money.
Some of them.
But when they meet somebody, because they're like, I make a lot of money, he makes a lot of money, I don't need that person's money. And that's great, because I'm all for that. But don't come in with the mentality of I'm badass because I fucking made it and I don't need your ass. Because when you meet someone at your level, and let's say you are a super successful female, high 6, 7, 8 figures, and you meet a man that's 6, 7, 8 figures, don't come in trying to play hardball because you've made it. Because don't forget, like, men that are doing that well know what it is to be a man,
right,
and know what the roles are between partnerships.
And very few people, like I said, 15% of people in America make over 100K. Right?
And that's not enough to live on right now anyways.
That's my point. So you need a man. You need 2 incomes. And if you think you're going to do it on your own and retire and have enough money put aside, how much money do you think you have to put aside? $4 million to retire? 2.5 million is what you're supposed to have. And you want how many kids? 3 kids? And you want to do it on your own and you don't need a man? You're not going to make it. You're going to starve. You're going to just...
Or you might, but you'll starve from a relationship.
Right. But you're going to need a lot of money. Right. So what I'm saying right now, with inflation being up 7% and all the cost of living, if you're in a somewhat major metropolitan city, it's a dual income, or you're dealing with a 1%er like ourselves. Because 100K, we're in Vegas. Sorry, that was my chair.
Oh.
We're in Vegas. 100K is good down here. Seattle, you're broke. Well,
California, you're broke.
Yeah, the average income here is $38,000, medium income, $I'm a year in Vegas. No.
You have like 4 roommates.
In Seattle, 105K is the poverty level. So I'm making 80K. I don't need.
Yeah, California, 100K. You're barely surviving.
Exactly. So it takes 2 incomes a lot of times, because if you're not doing it on your own, me and you have figured out how to do it on our own, right? What value is going to come to the table? Now, back to what you said, Sean, ride or die. I believe that the success of that relationship, you set boundaries, I'm assuming, with your girlfriend before you jumped in the 90-day honeymoon phase and said, hey, I'm in love. We're having a good time. Oh, I forgot to tell you.
Oh,
don't fuck with my business.
Correct.
Okay.
It was the foundation of who I am and what I do and where my time is actually demanded was already laid out before we went in. The conversation was had. It was, listen, this is my life. This is my work. This is my lifestyle. This is how much of my time and mental capacity is demanded from other people and my work for the things that I'm working on.
And you did that because you're confident. You know your value. You know that you can date pretty much who you want to date if you so choose, if they want to date you. My point is most men right now would panic and they don't want to set the boundaries because they're so excited about an attractive woman.
But here's the crazy thing too. I got to cut you off on that, because meeting her was a fluke, because I was willing to go not having a relationship for another couple of years.
Right.
I had no intention of wanting to meet somebody.
Right.
So for me, I was already at that place where, like, I'm on the fucking go. The nitrous shots have been hit and they're going, and I'm not slowing down. And somehow magically I met someone, and fortunately, like, she's already done her shit. Like, she's done very well for herself. So so there's somewhat of an understanding as well of, like, hey, I'm in the pinnacle of my career where I'm just notches away. But also, she's been married before. So, and has built something with someone.
Yeah,
so there's a clear understanding of, like, okay, I got to stay out of his way. And when he's got time for us, I'm grateful for it. And again, it's not something, and I wish people would, even men, stop thinking that this is some kind of like a power play or not. Like, your life depends on it. And the things that my life depend on, I'm willing to sacrifice being in a relationship to build the things that I want.
Right. But my point is that a lot of these guys and men out there, they panic and they're like, oh my God, if I tell her this, she might walk away. Well, you have a responsibility to your business. You have a responsibility to your game plan. And I think if a lot of people up front in these relationships on both sides, men and women, are clear as to the expectations up front, there's not going to be as many problems. But they don't talk about, hey, I literally said this to my girl, and I said it this way. I said, listen, this is my business. Don't fuck with my business. Don't fuck with my money. Let me run my business. This is how I run my business. I have time for you. We carved it out. We make it work. But the minute you cross that line and start fucking with my money and my business, you got to go.
But you know what? The thing is, you are willing to protect your purpose.
But I have,
And that's what it boils down to.
because I have a responsibility to my kids. I have a responsibility to myself, my family, other surrounding family.
Listen, and at the end of the day too, you have I said this a while ago, you have a responsibility to deliver your craft to these companies that need someone like you.
Absolutely.
You have a skill set and a unique one that sets a fine line and a boundary of where companies stand, what they think they need versus what they really need, what they think they can invest versus what they really need to invest. And you're that guy.
Yeah.
And so that is your purpose. If we take away the kids, the girlfriend, the families, Daverick Lyles has a certain set of skills that these high-end companies need, and he has a purpose that he has to deliver on.
Yep.
Because companies need him.
Yep.
That's bigger than you, that's bigger than your family, that's bigger than everything. And here's the thing, when you deliver to the things that are bigger, to the things that are outside of you and your family, that are bigger than you, all that gets taken care of.
Right. Absolutely. Sean said it right. I can't even say anything better than that. It's. I think people, like you said, there's a communication gap, big time. You know, you got to look at your future and not about, oh, this feels right, this feels good, let's have fun. Oh, did I tell you that I need to work? I mean, I've seen people in situations, and you've seen it, people that you've worked with, couples, where their girlfriend or spouse or the guys messaging them, texting them, are you at work? How come you're not returning my message? Who are you seeing? It's like, dude, you got to work on yourself. You got some serious, are you going to counseling? Because you shouldn't have been in a relationship till you go to counseling. Everybody needs counseling. Everybody needs somebody to hold them accountable.
I know people that get upset when their partner doesn't reply right away.
You're busy.
And here's the thing too, like it's obviously a different story if you know your partner's not doing shit. Like if they're like out with their buddies or what, fine, get that.
Playing PS5.
But when you know your partner is fucking hustling, working hard, kicking ass, getting after it. Yeah, they might be spread thin, but really fucking busting balls. And they don't return your text or call you back on time. Unless you have a trust issue, don't be sitting by the phone waiting for them to reply and then get angry when they reply to you like an hour, 2 hours later.
Oh, and the other one is going through your partner's phone all the time. All the time when there's no, and this doesn't happen with me, but there's individuals that we're talking with, and one of the persons told my girlfriend, hey, I go through his phone all the time, and she goes, has he given you a reason to? She's like, well, no. There's some serious issues. There's trust issues. And so I think that, like you said, you're a life coach. You counsel couples. You're a recovery coach. I mean, they need to see you, 100%.
There's, Byron said this a while back. There's a respect, honor, and loyalty isn't sacred anymore. It's just almost non-existent.
Respect, honor, and loyalty.
Yeah,
I like that.
I actually got that. That's tattooed on my forearm because that's been my mantra, my life personal Sean's mantra since like the day I was born. Because I saw my parents be disloyal to each other, not through adultery, but just other ways of not being loyal to each other.
Got you.
Because I've been burned and I've dealt with very disloyal people. That became my mantra at a very, very early age where I never want someone to experience or feel me disrespecting them, dishonoring them, or being disloyal to them because I've been there. Right. And it's probably one of the shittiest feelings. And, eventually you get to a point where you have this supreme confidence where if somebody fucks you over, you're like, okay, sorry, you'll just never be back in my circle again. But for me, I don't ever want someone to experience that from me, ever. Loyalty is just, it is my number one valued trait in myself and in humans. And here's the thing too. And this is just me, I'm a little hardcore and intense about it, but if you cause a challenge where I even question your loyalty, even if you haven't done anything, but if I question your loyalty, you forever lost my loyalty.
What do you mean by that?
Could be anything.
Give me an example.
It could be like you were out and about, and this could be friends or family or loved ones, and you overhear people talking shit about me, or someone tries to hit on you, whatever it is. and you don't do anything about it, I don't trust you anymore.
Or don't tell you about it.
Tell me, listen, I don't care about being told about it. I care about how you responded to those people.
I got it. So
because you're going to tell me about that anyways.
Right.
So whether it's you're out and about, my name comes up, you play dumb, and then you hear people talking shit about me, and I somehow find out, but you never did anything about it, you and I will never be friends again. Or if you were my girlfriend and someone tried to hit on you and you didn't put your foot down and shit on the person and say, like, first of all, you're out of line. Second of all, I have a partner. I don't trust you anymore.
Right.
So again, relationship or friends. Like if and again, I'm a little hardcore, and people might think like, wow, this guy's fucking crazy, he's psychotic.
No,
and you know what?
not at all.
I am a little bit, but you know what? That prevents me from ever getting burned from that person ever again in any shape or form, or anything in the future that could be a lot more significant.
Right.
Because the slightest questionable thing at some point down the road can be significantly bigger.
But if you ask
And it will
about it,
turn
but
in.
you do ask about it before you make that judgment call.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. That's good. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Listen, I'm intelligent enough to know that it is so beyond extreme intense. Because everyone's always got like that second chance. But you know, at the same time, that kind of second chance can be a really bad burn.
But your friends should have your back. They should say something.
They should.
You know, even if it's like, hey, that's not cool, and the person starts an issue with them, and they can say, hey, look, I don't appreciate it. He's my friend, whatever. And then I'm going to say, hey, this dude said this, Sean. Right? Because it's not cool. I'm here. You know I know Sean. So why would you say something negative about Sean? That's disrespecting me, disrespecting him. And you know I'm going to tell him. So either A, you're an idiot and really stupid, or B, you did it on purpose.
Right.
So you can cause
To
conflict.
see if you would jump in.
Right. Or to see if I'm going to say something. So now you put yourself in a bad situation because you're going to have to answer to Sean.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm cutting my ties with them. This is the key, right? Are you with me?
So this is where really, really old school values come into play. And people think it's like, oh, bullshit or whatever. This is so crucial and so critical in extreme strong relationships. There's a reason why there's some relationships, whether it's couples or friends, that are literally unbreakable. And it's because of what you just said. Because if you have a problem with somebody, and it's real, it's legit, it's rational, and I know that person, but you have a problem with that person, I will never become associated with that person. I will drop that relation, friendship, hello, how you doing, respect, it's out the door, gone.
Yeah, if they come in the gym and say, hey, it's okay, whatever. But I'm get away from me. I don't want to. I don't say that, but I'm like,
you just keep a distance.
Because it's. I have to have. Look, you're a good man. You're a good person. You've never done me wrong. Why would I not have your back? And if by having your back, if somebody's talking bad about you, that affects me, it offends me, and now I can't associate with you. Hey, let's go. No, because why? Well, let me tell you why. Because you disrespect Sean. No, he's not my girlfriend. I'm not married to the guy, but he's a good friend. He's a good man, a good person. And because you disrespect him, now you're disrespecting me. And if I associate with you, I have no value. What am I saying?
I just proved to Sean that he can't trust me.
Yeah, and it offends me, so I don't want to be around somebody.
And here's the thing too, like the thing is, and you know I got your back, so you're gonna have my back. And it's no different. Like if you know about how somebody burned me, not necessarily they just burned me. Forget about talking shit. They burned me. Do you maintain a friendship with that person? Now, obviously, if you were friends with that person beforehand or whatever, different.
No.
But if this person, if someone has, again, and I'm like this too, if someone has wronged you, burned you, said some shit about you, discredited you, whatever, if I was present when something was said, I'm obviously going to say something. But if you come to me and Daverick and say like, dude, this person did X, Y, and Z to me, then I already know offhand that I will never associate with this person or let this person have any kind of energy from me whatsoever, other than.
And I will always tell you, just like you've told me. And I don't think there's anybody, you know who I've had a challenge with, but anybody that you've had a challenge with that I know about, it's like, no, I'm done. Get away from me. And our circle, you and me, our circle is so small
Very small.
I mean, small. And it was funny because who was it when we came in here? Oh, Travis. Travis says, do you and Sean still not talk before you come to these shows? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, you guys don't hang. I said, dude, we're so busy. The only time I talk to Sean is in passing at the gym, maybe a text here and there once a week. But this is the most time I spend with him. He goes, you guys don't hang out? I said, you still don't hang out? I go, no, we're busy. He's in Aspen. He's in Texas. I'm here.
And it's not a choice.
I'm in Arizona.
We literally can't. Our
time just getting here is invaluable.
Right. I just spaced. I thought too hard.
George can block that out. Cut.
Yeah, but I know we kind of jumped around a little bit, but they all kind of come into one big picture together in the grand scheme of things. And where you and I are at in life, the circles do have to stay super tight. And as we climb up the ladder and get to higher levels, those elite levels, their circles do expand because now you're amongst people that actually understand respect, honor, and loyalty. Right. You're amongst circles of people that actually have a comprehension of having somebody's back, of wanting to have of the right type of associations. Because those are people that you might want to do business with.
Right.
But they've also been burned enough where they're like, I don't ever want to be around people that way. And so as you climb, as you get to different levels in life, your circle can expand a little bit more because you're going to meet other people that have been where you're at.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I know that we're getting down to our time, right? So,
what a shame.
What a shame.
It was good.
No, that was good stuff, man. I know the last 3 or 4 episodes we were with John, so it's been a while since you and I have just connected and just chatted and freestyled, So,
yeah. But nonetheless, I hope you guys got incredible value in today's episode. I keep looking over there. The camera's over there.
Sean's in deep thought right now.
I actually am. Like my brain's still working.
You still got another hour of dialogue.
I got like 5 hours of dialogue.
Oh my God.
Left. But yeah, if you guys found value in what we talked about, think somebody can use this kind of information. If you even enjoyed the conversation, just a fee, share it, like it, subscribe.
Turn on the notification indicator and pass it on. Stay strong.
And remember, everyone deployed.
Peace out.